Well, hello, you wonderful humans, and welcome back to Elden Ring. In today's video, we're going to be going over a couple of different weapons that are going to make you insanely powerful and the Lord of Space in Elden Ring. This is a combination of a couple different weapons that are absolutely amazing, and you're definitely going to want to experiment with them if you're doing any kind of sorcerer or intelligence build at all. The weapons we're going to be covering today are going to be the Wing of Astel, the actual weapon you get from Astel himself, and the Carrion Regal Scepter, and some other things that you can do to boost up the damage pretty substantially for this weapon. If we go ahead and just press L2 here, we're going to see that we can do about 1492 damage, but you can actually pair this with two different things to boost the damage even more. If we go ahead and activate Golden Vow, we'll be able to get this damage up quite a bit more, up to 1500 or actually 1714. And if we really want to get spicy, we can use Golden Vow and Terra Magica, which we covered in another video, to be able to get this damage up even more, all the way up to 2316. It can get pretty ridiculous, but obviously with the Terra Magica, you do need to be inside of this little, buff area. Now, one thing that I really like about this weapon is it's incredibly fast to cast, and it also does a lot of that poise damage. So you're going to be stunning your enemies pretty often with this. So as a whole, both of these weapons are pretty darn powerful, and I don't think they're going to be subject to being nerfed anytime soon because they're not like obscenely powerful, but it really does give us something other than just blood builds to be able to devastate the game, not only in PvE, but also in PvP as well. Now, there's a couple of things you can do to obviously boost the damage of this. I'm using Erdtree's Favor +1, the Radagon Soar Seal, the Stargazer Heirloom, and the Carrion Filigreed Crest to lower the FP consumed by skills. There's also a few different hats you can wear for this. I'm trying to get my poise up to at least above 50, so that way I can absorb one hit before being stunned. But we are using the Queen's Crescent Crown. The one that I was using for a long time was the Twin Sage Glintstone Crown, but you get +3 intelligence for this one, and you look like a fool. But if you use the Twin Sage Glintstone Crown, you get +6 intelligence, but you also lose HP, stamina, and your equipment load goes up a little bit more. So if you're on the precipice there and don't have a lot of stamina, you might want to look into looking like a fool like me, but it's up to you. Now, to be able to get this weapon, you'll need to have gotten far enough in Ranni's questline to be able to access Noxtella's Eternal City. Now, if you haven't started the Ranni's questline, it is up here at the western or northwestern part of Liurnia, and you'll have to have gotten through the Royal Moongazing Grounds to be able to access Ranni's Rise. Throughout this questline, you'll be able to do a bunch of different things, and you'll unlock this teleporter in Ranni's Chamber that will take you to the Astel River main. From here, we're just going to run down through. Now, the first time that you get to this little river area, there's going to be a big dude hanging from the ceiling, which is actually really easy to either kill or run past. Now, if you've already killed this thing, then we just need to run right past this area, and we're going to head down this river right here. Now, just avoid all of the creepy ants. You don't have to fight anything through here, although they do have that Fly of Swarms stuff, which is pretty terrible. But we're going to go left through this area of bones, and we're going to continue down through here, trying to avoid everything along the way. Oh my god, it hits like a freaking Mack truck. Gonna keep going past and through this tunnel. And then once we get out here, we're going to turn to our right, where we're going to see a couple more dudes in our way, but we're going to be going directly down through here. This dude hanging from the ceiling is going to just keep yeeting stuff at you. You can kind of just avoid it. Whenever it gets ready to cast a spell, just kind of sit in a spot where he's not going to be able to hit you. Then we can continue running through here. You're just going to want to run across this little edge here, and then inside of this chest is going to be the sword that we're looking for, the glorious Wing of Astel. Now, one of the things that is amazing about the Wing of Astel is it does have low attribute requirements. So you don't need to pump a lot of stats into anything in particular other than intelligence, which is the stat we actually want. Now, this weapon actually has a couple of different things you can do. You can use the left trigger to do the nebula, which blasts and causes stagger, which is just so good, because the amount of stagger that it does is actually very high, and you can cast it so quickly. It's just kind of unfair. But not only does it do this, but it also has another move that you can do with R2 when you do your heavy attacks, that it charges your blade with magic as well. And if you look, this actually launches out in front of the target. It doesn't go very far, but it's enough to help and stagger attacks from a little bit farther of a distance, which is just amazing. Now for the next weapon, you're going to need to defeat Astel, which is part of Ronnie's questline, and if you haven't done this, you just got to run down this area here, sit in the coffin that's here, which will take you down into this area to fight Astel. After defeating Astel, you're going to want to head to the Finger Reader Enya, and you're going to use your Power of Remembrance from Astel to get the weapon here that I'm not going to say. It's a great name for a weapon, but, you know, YouTube stuff. Now, like the Wing of Astel, Astel's weapon here, which is a flail, has the same skill called Nebula, although it's just a little bit different, and it's probably a little bit worse depending on the situation. But what it does is it actually swoops around you and creates this kind of circle that also covers your back. So in certain situations, this one actually might come in really handy, whereas the Wing of Astel only goes directly in front of you. So if anybody rolls behind you, then your back is just wide open. So if you want a little bit more blockage for behind you, this one is going to be a little bit better for that. One other thing that's really nice about this is you actually get the damage for the hit on this as well. So that's a nice little bonus. And then you actually don't need to fully use the ability to get the procs of the actual explosions. Like right about there, if you get stunned midway through this, you can actually still spew out all of the little explosions as long as it like lights up. So you don't actually have to do the full animation for it, which is pretty nice as well. Now there is also a couple of different ways to use the Wing of Astel. I did mention that you can use the R2 to be able to charge the blade with magic, which is great because it doesn't actually consume FP, but if you just tap the R2, you'll be able to shoot this little blade that comes out with it as well. But if you hold the heavy attack button, then you'll do a different combination and still throw the blade. So you charge it up, and then you'll do like a couple of different slashes, and you could do some other things with this as well. So if you tap R2, 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 you'll be able to do this combo. It's just like two little attacks. But if you hold it, you can do that. And then if you hold it again on this backswing, you'll do it back the other way. You can also hold it and then do a tap this way and get one attack. So there's actually quite a few different ways to be able to use this weapon. And it's honestly just a lot of fun to use. So all in all, a couple of really fun weapons, but I do really hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one.